Your track sounds like 3 different songs stitched together. Here's why. And it's not your mixing, it's not your sound design, it has to do with the way you think about arrangement. So most producers arrange in blocks. Intro plays, breakdown plays, drop plays. Each section is its own thing, and to connect them, you actually have to throw in risers and impact hits and swooshes, but that's exactly what makes it sound even more stitched together. And so naturally you try to cover it up, sneaking in one more pad or one more lead sound or an additional bass line. And at that point you end up with something that could be 3 tracks instead of one really coherent, cohesive story. Professional tracks don't work that way. They evolve consistently, nothing's ever truly static. So in this video I'll show you exactly how to make your sections flow into each other so nothing feels forced and your track develops naturally. So first I'll show you the biggest mistake that I see producers make when they try to arrange their tracks. So they slap some MIDI clips in their session and try to come up with different parts. Now in theory that obviously works because you need an intro, you need a build-up, you need a breakdown, you need whatever, it depends on the genre. But the problem lies in the details of how they actually make these parts work together. So this is a pretty common example. We start with some intro, then we go into a hi-hat. Now, so far this is working great, but what happens when we now try to introduce an element that is introducing something new, like this atmosphere here together with the shaker? So this is not even a dramatically different part, this is just a little build-up building on the original intro. But it gets even worse, because if you now apply some of the techniques that you learn in a lot of arrangement tutorials out there, you're actually deepening the issue here. So I call this the riser trap. The natural tendency of 99% of producers is to go into their samples and look for some kind of a riser. So let's try it out. Let's grab a riser, put it in here, and see if that solves the problem. Now there's one thing that the riser does well. It actually helps introduce that shaker a little bit. But to be honest, it doesn't soften anything about this atmosphere, and also it just feels and sounds out of context to me. Now here's the good news, you don't have to randomly throw in risers into your session, because I'll show you a way better method right now that is going to make it so much more easy and effortless to complete your arrangements. So we first need to break with this fundamental belief that arrangement means placing discrete MIDI blocks across your timeline. Let's try to shift our perspective and think about arrangement as mixing across time. A great way to think about this is you are the conductor of an orchestra. So you gently bring in some parts, you let other parts fade away, and all of this is a very dynamic process. So let's look at how we can remodel this following our principles. So first, let's get rid of that riser. Now, when I want to introduce something like this shaker, what you can do is you can just extend it to where the other part is playing. And the most simple way to introduce a new element is to fade it in, but not necessarily with volume, and instead you do it with a filter. And this is what I absolutely love about the Ableton Auto filter. It's so damn simple to use. So I'll just start relatively quiet here, select the frequency, hit A because that's opening the automation lanes, and then I'll just draw an automation lane that opens this up. And then a little pro tip, we want to give this some kind of space to develop. So if you want to bring this in here, can be a really cool trick to just leave out the kick drum for just a bar here. And let's see what that already does. This was much better, but we can do more. When an element sounds off, very often it's because there is no hint at what's about to come before in the session. So if this is too random, then it means we need to have some element of that happening before already to guide the listener to what's about to happen. Now check this out. We're extending this. We're checking out what's actually happening in our sound design. So here we have granulator 3 going into an effects chain, but that's not too important. What's important here is we see what this is actually doing here. So what grains is this playing? How is that playing? Now, we can automate something like the grain position, so where this playhead is placed. This is select here now, and we can see maybe there is something like a section that's a bit softer. Let's try that out. Maybe this one here. So just a tail here. Now this is extending a little bit too much. This is because the scan is activated here. Can also bring this down and say this is not supposed to scan. Scan means it's wandering through the selected waveform here and picking out grains that are actually not even part of this anymore. And also the variation, that's the second parameter that influences this. So we can bring these back up in this new part. But this is now hinting at what's about to come in the sound design without being super upfront. So let's check that out. We can obviously make it even more pleasant by using, once again, an auto filter. Bring this down. So it's just like a little bit of that is coming through and then filters opening up around here. What if the session becomes more complex? Let's say I want to start introducing some more percussions, a ride, and then at some point also the lead sound. How would I actually go about this? So first of all, you have to understand that I'm always thinking about what's about to come next and how can I sneak it in. So here at this point, this would be a good moment to introduce something new. This has been playing for quite some time. And now we want to bring in this other percussion thing here. So here it can be as simple as using volume automation, but actually there are also a couple of other ways you can introduce this. When it's done intentionally, you can actually shock the listener a tiny bit. So here's what I mean. You end the sound that was happening before, you start the new one. Instead of sneaking it in, you like literally use just that point. You take out the kick drum, keep something like the bass playing and maybe that atmosphere as well. And then like this is playing for a few bars, and then you introduce the kick drum again to then make a new part happening. And so that is an intentional aha moment for the listener. Once again, you're thinking like a conductor of an orchestra. You're thinking about, okay, where is this weird little instrument from the background that wasn't there before that can wake up the audience again? So this is what we're doing here. But at the same time, we need to prepare what's happening in the next part. And here's where it gets interesting, because that could be the perfect part to introduce our lead sound. And the lead sound, I can already give a little bit of a spoiler, is quite complex and quite out of the box. It's actually best practice to use a utility for volume automation, because then you still have control later on how loud that element, including the automation, is going to be in your mix. And then this is going to play from that next part here. But once again, it's probably a bit too shocking. So let's listen to how this flows now. Absolutely love that metallic sounding lead sound. It's so groovy, it's so immersive. I really like it, but it still has to be introduced in a way that actually makes sense. So this is coming from a sequence from Sting going into operator. We could actually work with operator directly and see if we can maybe adjust the envelopes. That is one really cool option. But another trick that I like to use quite a bit is introducing it with the reverb. Now you can do this in a send return type of fashion, which is actually what I do most of the time because that's better to mix. Here, just for simplicity of this tutorial, I'm showing it with using the wet dry knob. So what you can do is you can go for 100% wet and then introduce this element through the reverb, which is going to sound quite interesting. So we'll gradually introduce this lead sound over at least 3 parts. We might have to pair this also with the filter. Bring this down and open it up until here. Okay, this This is not yet on point, but you get the idea of how this is working. Let me remodel this and show you a better version where this is exactly spot on. This version now is probably going to sound much better. I'll give you a bit more time before so this can develop. Now, this is also a perfect moment to reintroduce something like the hi-hat. And that's another big learning here. You can actually time this in a way that some of the sounds that have a similar characteristic introduce one another. So this metallic sound that is opening up here in the lead sound is a perfect segue into the metallic sound of the hi-hat. Let me show you. No riser needed. If I'm thinking as a conductor of an orchestra, I would actually want the kick drum to follow this pattern as well and kind of, pull back a little bit, but without muting it completely. So once again, we'll grab our friend, the auto filter, but this time with a high pass. We're actually going to find the sweet spot of that kick drum, so where you get like a little bit of that knocky feeling, but without the top end. Like this. This is perfect. Then we'll bring it back. You can also just use this for the last 4 hits. That's maybe sounding even better. And now again, I'm thinking about, okay, what do I want to introduce next? How does this work in the next part? So overall, we are working towards some kind of a climax of the song. So this is where some more elements are playing. So let's drop in our friend, the Atmo, once again. The cool thing is, since we already have this automation painted in, you can very often get away with the exact same pattern. So this is like a little bit more shallow before. Maybe we don't want it to be present at all in the very beginning. Just remove this here. And then from here, we will start to sneak in that atmosphere again. Probably, let's play this here. Extend the kick drum, filter it out here for 2 bars. Maybe not even have the bass playing, so we'll just leave that out for a moment. Some more hi-hats. Percussions as well. And this is once again a cool technique. You can replace one sound with another one simply by playing this in a little bit of a break. Then you grab something else, like in this case, for example, the ride, and you place it in here. But obviously, once again, we need to sneak it in a little bit so that it's not too much of a shock. So we'll actually let this ride happen here already, bring it in. And with cymbals, this reverb, wet, dry thing works super well. So we'll go for a really lush reverb here. So this is what the cymbal sounds like. So let's introduce that cymbal, first of all, with this reverb, but then also with a little bit of filtering, of course. And you can use these little breaks also to give the lead sound a little bit of a different character once again. So, for example, bring back a bit more of that filtered sound, bring it down, open it back up again later, feed more of the reverb in. So this can also be a really cool way to climax this. Now, this is the secret sauce. This is exactly why professionally produced tracks sound the way they sound. They are constructed in a way that the track keeps evolving, but it still tells a coherent story without randomly slapped on parts and effects that just don't fit the context of the song. Now, here's the problem. Even with the best arrangement method on the planet, you cannot consistently finish music at a high quality level if you don't have a system for that. Now, I want to help you with that system for free. You can get it at pickyourself.com/framework. This is my finisher framework, the 3 simple steps that you can use to finish at least one great sounding song per month. This is also the same system that we're teaching our coaching students. So if that's interesting to you, pickyourself.com/framework completely for free. Hope you enjoy it.